Hello everybody. Sonny's shocking discovery, Natalia's miraculous survival exposes Sidwell's deadly game. In the latest dramatic turn of events on ABC's General Hospital, viewers are witnessing one of the most complex and emotionally charged storylines to unfold in Port Charles. The revelation that Natalia Ramirez has not actually died from her apparent suicide attempt has sent shockwaves through the community, particularly affecting Sonny, who believed he had lost the troubled woman forever after their relationship reached its devastating end. The apparent tragedy unfolds. The storyline reached its apparent climax when Chase and Anna broke into Natalia's hotel room at the Metro Court, discovering her unconscious on the couch surrounded by empty pill bottles and alcohol. The scene was carefully orchestrated to appear as a tragic suicide attempt, with paramedics rushing her to General Hospital where Elizabeth and Isaiah worked desperately to save her life. In what seemed like a heartbreaking conclusion, medical staff eventually declared her dead, leaving her son Marco devastated, and the Port Charles community reeling from the loss. The circumstances leading to Natalia's apparent demise were deeply rooted in her deteriorating relationship with Sonny. After being ordered to leave Port Charles forever and relocate to Belize, Natalia felt completely abandoned by the men she had once trusted and loved. Her final confrontation with Sonny at his granddaughter's christening had been particularly devastating, where he made it crystal clear that she would have no place in his future. The emotional toll of this rejection, combined with her estrangement from her son Marco, created the perfect storm that seemingly drove her to take her own life. The sinister truth behind the facade. However, the true mastermind behind this elaborate deception was none other than Sidwell, Natalia's dangerous ex-husband who has been orchestrating a complex campaign against Sonny. Sidwell's connection to Natalia was revealed earlier in the year when it was discovered that they had been married, though their relationship had ended badly. This personal connection provided Sidwell with the perfect opportunity to manipulate events to his advantage. The sophisticated nature of Sidwell's plan becomes evident when examining the timing and execution of Natalia's apparent death. While the scene at the Metro Court was carefully staged to appear as a suicide, Sidwell had actually orchestrated her rescue, likely using his criminal connections to fake her death and remove her from the situation before she could actually die from the drug and alcohol combination. This elaborate ruse served multiple purposes in Sidwell's larger scheme against Sonny. Sidwell's motivations for saving Natalia were far from altruistic. As her ex-husband, he understood the psychological impact her apparent death would have on Sonny, particularly given the guilt and responsibility Sonny would feel for driving her to such desperate measures. By staging her death and then revealing her survival at a strategic moment, Sidwell gained significant leverage over both Sonny and Natalia herself. Sonny's devastating discovery. The moment when Sonny discovers that Natalia is actually alive represents one of the most emotionally complex revelations in recent General Hospital history. For Sonny, who has built his life on loyalty and protecting those he cares about, the realization that he failed to protect Natalia and inadvertently contributed to what he believed was her death creates profound psychological turmoil. The guilt of believing he had driven her to suicide weighs heavily on his conscience, making the revelation of her survival both a relief and a source of additional anguish. Sonny's discovery likely comes through his investigation into the circumstances surrounding Natalia's apparent death. As someone who has survived decades in the dangerous world of organized crime, Sonny possesses keen instincts for detecting deception and manipulation. The inconsistencies in the official story, combined with Sidwell's suspicious behavior around the time of Natalia's apparent death, would naturally raise his suspicions. The emotional impact on Sonny extends beyond simple relief at learning Natalia is alive. He must now grapple with the realization that he has been manipulated by Sidwell in the most personal and devastating way possible. This discovery transforms his relationship with Sidwell from a business rivalry into something far more personal and dangerous. As Sidwell has crossed the ultimate line by using Sonny's emotions and guilt against him, the rescue operation and its implications. The details of how Sidwell orchestrated Natalia's rescue reveal the sophisticated nature of his criminal enterprise. Using his resources and connections, Sidwell was able to stage a convincing fake death while simultaneously removing Natalia from immediate danger. This operation required precise timing, medical knowledge, and the ability to deceive both law enforcement and medical professionals at General Hospital. The rescue itself likely involved Sidwell's operatives intervening at a crucial moment, either by providing medical assistance to counteract the drug overdose or by ensuring that the combination of pills and alcohol was never truly lethal to begin with. The presence of a mysterious man seen leaving Natalia's hotel room before Chase and Ann arrived suggests that Sidwell's people were monitoring the situation closely and prepared to act when necessary. For Natalia, being rescued by her ex-husband creates a complex web of obligations and dependencies. She now owes her life to a man she had previously tried to escape, placing her in an extremely vulnerable position. This rescue gives Sidwell unprecedented power over her, as he can now control her movements and actions by threatening to expose the truth about her fake death or by withdrawing his protection. Next, we will delve into the storm brewing in Port Charles around the infamous Drew Quartermain, a character whose despicable actions have sparked intense fan backlash and endless speculation about his future on the show. From his underhanded manipulations to the whispers of a shocking return tied to Kim Nero, Drew's storyline is a roller coaster of drama that refuses to let up. Buckle up as we explore the depths of his villainy, the potential twists awaiting with a long-lost child, and the burning question on everyone's mind: will Drew finally be written out of General Hospital, or is there more chaos to come? The fall of a hero, Drew Quartermain's descent into darkness. Once revered as a Navy SEAL with a heart of gold, Drew Quartermain's transformation into one of Port Charles' most reviled figures has left fans reeling. His recent antics have painted him as a cold-hearted schemer, willing to cross any line for personal gain. Among his most egregious acts was the cruel manipulation of Willow Corinthos, where he paid off a nurse at a prestigious burn clinic in Germany to turn her away during a desperate attempt to reconnect with Michael Corinthos. This heartless move left Willow stranded and emotionally shattered, sparking outrage among viewers who once saw Drew as a beacon of honor. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Drew's malice extended to the innocent wily Corinthos, whom he deliberately traumatized by planting vicious lies. He orchestrated a situation where Wiley overheard a fabricated story that Michael no longer wanted him or his sibling, Amelia Corinthos, due to a supposed new baby with Sasha Gilmore. The emotional devastation this caused the young boy has been a breaking point for many fans, who have taken to social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram to vent their fury. Posts such as "Drew has crossed a line with Wiley, get him off the show," flood online discussions, reflecting the deep betrayal felt by the audience over a once-beloved character's actions. Beyond personal attacks, Drew's schemes have infiltrated the professional sphere as well. His blackmail of Portia Robinson over sensitive medical test results concerning Heather Weber has added fuel to the fire of fan discontent. This shady power play, combined with a dubious business deal involving the Port Charles Esplanade, showcases Drew's willingness to exploit anyone for leverage. Even his romantic entanglements have drawn ire, particularly his fling with Nina Reeves while simultaneously pursuing Willow Corinthos, a messy web of deceit that has torched any hope of redemption in the eyes of many. The consensus online is clear: Drew's moral compass is irreparably broken, and fans are desperate for the writers to bid him farewell. A ghost from the past, Kim Nero's potential return. Just when it seems Drew's exit might be imminent, a lingering thread from his past threatens to anchor him to Port Charles. Kim Nero, a figure absent from the canvas since 2020, looms large over his storyline with a tantalizing mystery. Her last appearance dropped the bombshell: a baby named Andy, seemingly named in tribute to Drew himself. This subtle clue has kept fans buzzing for years, with many theorizing that Andy could be Drew's child, a paternity twist that would complicate any plans to write him out of the show. Kim and Drew's history is steeped in emotional complexity. Once deeply in love, their bond was tested by time and circumstance, yet the possibility of a shared child adds a new layer of intrigue. If Kim were to return, clutching a now-toddler Andy and claiming Drew as the father, it could spark a dramatic confrontation that reverberates through Port Charles. Imagine the scene: Kim stepping off a plane at the local airport, her eyes filled with unresolved pain, as she demands answers from a stunned Drew. Such a moment would not only tether him to the town but also force him to confront the consequences of his past decisions in a deeply personal way. The implications of this reveal extend far beyond family drama. Drew's current aspiration as a congressman, with dreams of a political career in Washington, D.C., could come crashing down under the weight of a public scandal. A child out of wedlock, unveiled at the peak of his campaign, might paint him as unreliable in the eyes of voters, effectively trapping him in Port Charles to face the music. Fan forums on platforms like Reddit are abuzz with speculation, with some users suggesting, if Andy is Drew's kid, there's no way he's leaving town anytime soon. The drama will be explosive. Whether this twist serves as a lifeline for Drew's character or merely prolongs his villainous reign remains to be seen. Fan fury versus storytelling potential. Can Drew be redeemed? The divide among General Hospital viewers is stark. On one hand, the overwhelming sentiment on social media is a resounding cry for Drew's departure. Comments like "No more Drew's lies are unbearable," and "Wiley's pain was the last straw" dominate discussions, highlighting the emotional toll his actions have taken on the audience. Many argue that his transition from hero to villain has been too drastic, leaving little room for a believable redemption arc. They yearn for a satisfying conclusion where Drew faces justice, perhaps a dramatic exit involving a confrontation with Michael or a downfall orchestrated by Portia. On the other hand, General Hospital has a storied history of keeping its villains front and center, weaving complex narratives that defy easy resolutions. Drew's potential connection to Kim and Andy offers a pathway to explore new dimensions of his character. Some fans, though a minority, speculate that fatherhood could be the catalyst for change. A heartfelt post on Facebook muses, "If Kim comes back with Drew's son, maybe we'll see a softer side." It could be his saving grace. The idea of Drew grappling with newfound responsibility, balancing it against his darker impulses, presents a compelling angle for the writers to explore. Could a child's innocence pierce through the armor of his schemes, or will it merely become another tool for manipulation? Moreover, Kim's return wouldn't just affect Drew, it could ripple through the entire community. Her presence might reignite old tensions with characters like Julian Jerome, who was once tied to the mystery of Andy's parentage back in 2000. During a fleeting encounter, Julian came close to meeting the infant, leaving viewers with lingering questions about his role in Kim's life. Should Kim reappear, her interactions with Julian, Michael, and even Nina could create a web of conflict and alliances, further entrenching Drew in the town's drama. The question remains, will the writers seize this opportunity to craft a redemption story, or will they double down on Drew's villainy, using Kim and Andy as pawns in his latest power play? The future of Drew Quartermain, exit or explosion. As the dust settles on Drew Quartermain's latest misdeeds, the future of his character hangs in a precarious balance. Fans are clamoring for closure, exhausted by his relentless betrayals and manipulations. The pain he's inflicted on characters like Willow, Wiley, and Portia has solidified his status as Port Charles' most loathed resident, with many hoping for a swift and final exit. Yet, the shadow of Kim Nero and the enigmatic Andy looms large, promising a twist that could keep Drew rooted in the storyline for months if not years to come. If Kim does return, claiming Andy as Drew's child, the emotional and political fallout could redefine his arc entirely. A dramatic showdown at the heart of Port Charles, perhaps in the iconic hospital itself, might see Drew's carefully constructed facade crumble under the weight of fatherhood and public scrutiny. His dreams of Washington could fade into the background as he's forced to navigate diaper changes and DNA tests, all while fending off the scorn of a town that's had enough of his games. Alternatively, the writers could take a darker route, with Drew rejecting Andy outright, further cementing his status as an irredeemable antagonist. Next, we will dive into the electrifying speculation surrounding the potential return of Nell Benson to Port Charles, a character whose villainous legacy still haunts the Corinthos family. With dramatic shifts in relationships, custody battles, and shadowy figures like Jen Sidwell pulling strings behind the scenes, the stage is set for Nell's comeback to ignite chaos like never before. Join us as we explore the dark possibilities of her reappearance, the intricate family dynamics at play, and the potential alliances that could tear apart the lives of Willow, Michael, and little Wiley. Get ready for a deep dive into this explosive storyline that has fans buzzing with anticipation. Nell Benson's potential return, a storm on the horizon. The whispers among General Hospital fans are growing louder. It's time for Nell Benson to resurface in Port Charles, and her return could be nothing short of catastrophic. Once thought to be gone for good after her dramatic demise, theories abound that Nell may have faked her death, biding her time for the perfect moment to strike. Now, With Willow and Michael Corinthos reeling from a bitter divorce and Willow losing custody of their children, the timing couldn't be more right for Nell to swoop in like a vulture, claiming her biological right to Wiley. Her history of ruthless schemes and unrelenting vendettas against the Corinthos clan makes her the ultimate weapon of destruction, poised to exploit every crack in their fractured family. Imagine the scene, Nell striding into town under a new alias, her signature smirk intact, as she walks straight into the courthouse to demand custody of Wiley. Her reappearance would not only shock Michael, who has fought tooth and nail to protect his son, but also send ripples of dread through the entire community. Fans on social media platforms are already speculating about her dramatic entrance, with posts on Instagram and Twitter imagining scenarios where Nell crashes a family gathering at the Quartermain mansion, turning a celebratory moment into a nightmare. Her return would be a masterstroke of chaos, especially given her knack for manipulating situations to her advantage, leaving no one safe from her poisonous influence. Jen Sidwell, the puppet master behind the scenes. Adding fuel to the fire of Nell's potential return is the sinister figure of Jen Sidwell, whose true colors are becoming increasingly apparent in Port Charles. On the surface, Sidwell presents himself as a charming and benevolent force, but beneath this facade lies a calculating mind with no qualms about destroying anyone who stands in his way. His vendetta against Sonny Corinthos runs deep, and he's proven himself willing to target the mob boss's family without hesitation. Rumors swirl that Sidwell was behind the devastating fire that nearly claimed Michael's life, a calculated act of violence meant to destabilize the Corinthos stronghold. But Sidwell's machinations don't stop there. Insiders suggest he may have orchestrated the judicial decision that granted Michael full custody of his children, bribing a corrupt judge to tip the scales in a way that would further fracture Willow's world. What's more chilling is the possibility that Sidwell has tracked down Nell, recognizing her as the perfect instrument to inflict maximum pain on Sonny and his kin. If he has indeed located her, perhaps hiding in a remote coastal town under an assumed identity, could easily buy off another judge to grant her a full pardon, unleashing her like a guided missile on the unsuspecting Corinthos family. Fan discussions on forums like Reddit are rife with theories, with many believing Sidwell's wealth and connections could make Nell's return not just plausible, but terrifyingly inevitable. Nell's motive: reclaiming Wiley at any cost. At the heart of Nell's potential comeback lies her unyielding claim to Wiley, her biological son, whom she has always believed belongs to her. Before her supposed death, Nell's obsession with Wiley drove her to commit unspeakable acts, from deception to outright violence, all in the name of asserting her maternal rights. If she returns, there's no doubt she would stop at nothing to wrest him away from Michael, employing every dirty trick in her arsenal. With Sidwell's resources behind her, including his ability to manipulate legal systems, Nell might finally have the upper hand she's always craved. Picture this chilling scenario: Nell, backed by Sidwell's legal team, files an emergency petition for custody, citing her biological connection and painting Michael as an infant father due to the recent upheavals in his life. She could weave a sob story for the courts, claiming she's reformed and deserves a second chance, all while plotting behind closed doors to whisk Wiley away for good. Her determination would be a gut punch to Michael, who has already endured so much loss, and could even push him to take drastic measures to protect his son. Social media buzz includes fan-made videos on TikTok envisioning courtroom showdowns between Nell and Michael, with hashtags like Nellrators trending as viewers brace for the emotional fallout of this battle. The twisted sisterhood: Nell and Willow's explosive reunion. Before her disappearance, Nell and Willow were bitter enemies, their hatred fueled by personal betrayals and clashing values. At that time, Willow was the epitome of kindness, deeply in love with Michael and unaware of the shocking truth that Nell was her sister and Nina Reeves her mother. Fast forward to today, and the landscape has shifted dramatically. Willow, hardened by divorce and the loss of custody, is a far cry from the sweet soul she once was. If Nell returns, their reunion could be a powder keg of emotions, blending long-buried familial ties with years of resentment. What if Nell, ever the opportunist, tries to exploit this newfound sisterhood to her advantage? She might approach Willow with a fox olive branch, proposing they team up to regain control of Wiley and Amelia, using their shared pain over losing the children as a bonding point. This alliance, however temporary, would be a devastating blow to Michael, pitting the mother of his children against him in a war orchestrated by Nell's cunning mind. Adding another layer of intrigue, rumors circulate that Drew Quartermain, always eager to stir the pot, could manipulate Willow into working with Nell, whispering promises of revenge against Michael. Fan fiction circulating on platforms like Wattpad imagines tense coffee shop meetings between the sisters, where Nell's honeyed words slowly chip away at Willow's defenses, setting the stage for a heartbreaking betrayal. Sidwell's endgame, chaos for the Corinthos clan. Jen Sidwell's involvement in Nell's potential return points to a larger, more sinister agenda. His hatred for Sonny Corinthos isn't just personal, it's a calculated campaign to dismantle every pillar of the mob boss's life, from his family to his empire. By resurrecting Nell as a weapon, Sidwell could strike at the heart of the Corinthos family, using her history of wreaking havoc to inflict fresh wounds. If he's already manipulated judges and staged near-fatal accidents like the fire that targeted Michael, there's no telling how far he'll go to ensure Nell's mission succeeds. Consider the broader implications of Sidwell's plan. Not only could Nell's return upend Wiley's life, but it might also destabilize Sonny's alliances in Port Charles. If Sidwell has indeed pardoned Nell through backdoor deals, he could position her as a wild card, stirring conflict with other key players like Nina, who would be torn between her maternal instincts and her loyalty to Sonny. The potential for Nell to infiltrate the family under Sidwell's guidance, perhaps even posing as a reformed ally at first, adds a layer of psychological warfare to the mix. Online discussions on Facebook groups dedicated to General Hospital are filled with dread about this alliance, with fans theorizing that Sidwell's ultimate goal might be to use Nell to provoke Sonny into a fatal mistake, forever altering the power dynamics of the town. The big question: will Nell wreak havoc once more? As speculation mounts, the burning question remains: will Nell Benson return to Port Charles to unleash a new wave of devastation? Her history as a master manipulator, combined with the current vulnerabilities in the Corinthos family, makes her comeback a tantalizing and terrifying prospect. With Willow and Michael at odds, Wiley's custody hanging in the balance, and Sidwell orchestrating chaos from the shadows, Nell's reappearance could be the spark that sets off an uncontrollable inferno. Fans are already envisioning epic confrontations at iconic locations like the hospital or the docks, where Nell's true intentions are revealed in a blaze of drama. If she does return, the emotional stakes couldn't be higher. Will she succeed in claiming Wiley, tearing him away from the only family he's ever known? Can Willow resist the pull of her sister's schemes, or will she be drawn into a dangerous partnership that costs her everything? And how will Sonny respond to Sidwell's latest maneuver, especially if Nell becomes the face of his enemy's vendetta? The possibilities are endless, and the tension is palpable as viewers await the next chapter of this gripping saga. We want to hear from you. Do you think Nell will resurface to wreak havoc once again, or should her story remain buried in the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers for all the latest updates on this explosive storyline.